are, of course, just 6 days out now from the Democratic primary election in the race for Buffalo mayor. There's been a ton of reaction to our debate that aired live right here on Channel 7 yesterday evening. The candidates addressing a bunch of issues, but also getting a little bit heated toward the end.
We could all agree, Buffalo deserves better.
If you want more of the same, this is what it is, because this process was not fair.
The senator, I want to be very clear, has lied, continued to lie, and will continue to lie about me for the next 7 days.
Each of these people are responsible for how the system is currently.
If we want the same old things that we've had, then we'll continue to do the same things we've done, and it won't help the east side, it won't help the west side.
In a moment, we're going to get some insight on where the race stands now following that final debate. But we're also following the money race tonight. Investigative Post dug into some new numbers that we just got, showing State Senator Sean Ryan has spent just shy of $1 million since last July. Acting Mayor Chris Scanlon is also approaching $1 million. The other candidates, though, look, are very far behind. Former City Fire Commissioner Garnell Whitfield has spent only about $66,000. University District Council Member Rasheed Wyatt at $34,000. And then at last check, community activist Anthony Tyson Thompson hadn't filed the form, so we aren't yet sure of his exact spending. We also want to take a closer look at those two big dollar candidates. So over the past 3 weeks or so, Chris Scanlon has spent nearly $480,000, the biggest expenditures on TV ads, mailers and flyers, and also online ads. Meanwhile, Ryan has spent about $400,000 with an almost equal amount on television commercials, plus $75,000 on mailers and flyers, and then $22,000 on staff wages. Bob McCarthy is our 7 News political analyst, and Jeff Kelly is associate editor with Investigative Post, and they both join me live here tonight. It's great to have both of you here. Bob, you were among those on our panel asking questions last night. I was really struck by the fact that there wasn't a single rebuttal for really the first half or maybe 2/3. It certainly got heated a little bit at the end, though, as time was running out and some of the candidates were trying to take some shots. What are your takeaways from last night?
Well, they took advantage of this very important opportunity, Michael, with a week left to get across their points as best they could. And I thought each of them did get their message across. And that's, as I said, important at this stage of the game. But if you could do it with a little bit of jab to it, and if you can get a little rise out of your opponent, as some of them were doing late in the debate last night, then that's all the better for your efforts. That's why these things are important. And I think that it was a good debate last night that got all of our viewers a really good opportunity to learn about these people. Not all of them are so well known.
Yeah, it was substantive, and we learned some things that we didn't know before, and that's what you hope comes out of a debate. Jeff, you've been following this race very closely, and we knew that we were going to start to see these expenditure reports coming out, so we could kind of really dig into how they're spending money. And those top 2 candidates are spending a lot of money. What should we know about how they're spending it, and is this a 2-person race?
Well, just in terms of dollars and cents, it certainly looks like one, and it's also probably, it's got to be the most expensive Buffalo mayoral primary in, I don't know, decades. It's over $2 million between the 5 candidates, and almost all of that is from the 2 frontrunners, from Sean Ryan and acting Mayor Chris Scanlon. They're each, as you pointed out, approaching $1 million, and that's as of last week. It also doesn't count whatever independent expenditures might materialize in the coming days. There's already been one from a group in Albany on behalf of Scanlon, a text message campaign. We don't know how much that cost yet. We'll find out eventually. And we're bound to see lots more mailers and lots more TV ads and other kinds of advertising over the weekend.
Yeah, 6 days away, that's a lifetime in politics. Although, you know, just in talking with the candidates last night and their campaigns, I mean, they're obviously all exhausted. They've been living and breathing this for a long time now. Bob, after the debate last night, do you think anything in the race changed? Did the dynamic change at all after last night?
I would find that difficult to believe, except for maybe someone who is not familiar with any of these candidates learned something new about them. But what we heard last night was basically their message, the message that they've tried to get across, whether it would be Sean Ryan talking about the fact that he is aligned with the county executive and with the party, and that's going to be good. It means unifying. Or then we hear a different take on that from Chris Scanlon, which he says it's the same old cronyism. So, I mean, it depends on your point of view, I guess, but the messages were laid out there last night. That's what they're going to take through the final week, and that's what's probably going to determine how this all ends up, how you interpret their message. And it comes from various bases and various support groups. And that's why this thing is so interesting and so hard to call at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, I always love reading your newsletter because you really kind of dig into what's happening, especially in this race. And I found it really striking when you were talking about, you know, the two candidates at the top have spent a ton of money, but they don't necessarily have the same amount of money in their coffers. The Scanlon campaign seems to be holding on to a lot more cash than Sean Ryan. Walk me through the significance of that.
Yeah, so you're quite right. It appears that Sean Ryan is spending every last dime as the primary approaches, because if he doesn't win the Democratic primary, maybe he'll have a ballot line in November if he chooses to use it. He's got the nomination of the Working Families Party. But maybe he won't campaign into November if he doesn't have the Democratic nomination as well. Chris Scanlon, on the other hand, seems to be husbanding his campaign funds a little bit. He's got as of last week, had about $340,000 left to Ryan's $75,000. It could be that Scanlon, who has an independent line for November, is looking beyond the primary. Maybe he prevails and everything's good, but if he doesn't, then maybe he's saving some money for that general election campaign.
Two of the best to talk to about this. So great to get your insight, Bob McCarthy and Jeff Kelly. Bob, of course, here with us at 7 News. Make sure you go to investigativepost.org and read Jeff's reporting as well. Thanks to both of you.